Okay. You ready to kick off? Ready to kick off? Whenever you're ready. We're ready. We're. Yeah. Get started.
All right. So as you saw, and I guess we'll just reiterate the main things. The revenue neutral rate is 44.0609, which is 4.171 mils lower than our current mill levy, but generates the same tax dollars. Within the budget that we're giving you today, we're proposing 3.171 increase of mills. Taking the float of that, it's not the entire amount, but one less, raising the arm. And as you can see, the mill valuation increased quite a bit, hence the mills being that different. Our equipment reserve fund transfers are almost the same as last year, just a slight decrease. CIP transfers, we did decrease those. But we feel like, and we'll look at that later, that can be changed with the projects that we have scheduled. We feel like that's enough there. The allocation of the outside entities, we left it how it was in the past in this budget, so that's something we get to decide. Well, we get to decide everything, so sorry. I guess as a point there, the merit increases, step pay is in there at $16,809. That's their annual evaluation increases for every employee. The cost of living is in there at 2.7% for everyone. It just tells you what that amounts to. There is, that we were told there was going to be an approximate 13% increase in medical and 1% increase in dental on our health insurance, which is the highest we've seen in a while. And what we put in the budget is employees rates increasing 13% and the city rates increasing 13%. So sharing that in that way. But there's also other options that we'll discuss. The fire, EMS department, and the police department presented their wage increase requests, and that information is in there, along with another option of all scale changing and getting on kind of a actual increase that thing. And that guaranteed dollar amount in this budget is 300,000. Last year, to give you an idea, it was 345,000 approximately. So we feel that's enough, given where our reserves are right now. And water and sewer fund is not really special in there. It's kind of as we expect. We're having trouble building in there because of the high cost of chemicals and the water meter purchases. Hopefully, eventually, the water meter purchases will slow down once we get them all. I don't know how long that's going to take, but also some debt drops off. You can see that in the schedule that's in there. So we will start gaining after our rate increase. It's just we've had a lot of high costs lately with those things. So as you can see on the last page of that memo, those are the major points. We can talk about anything that's in there and how it's in there, but what do we want to start with? That's always never sure where we want to start.
What makes most sense to start with, in your opinion? Where would you like to start?
I mean, as everyone looked at everything, like, because the information items, kind of just to see where we have been in the past, what we have in there for this year, I think it's kind of good to look at just to show, like, as we consider whether we want to do increasing the R&R or not. That's not I think it's just to show you, but you can probably all look at it, but those first two schedules of the information items one.
I guess the question that kind of jumped up out of the start is. Seems like we've been running fairly tight for a long time. We've worked really hard to maintain our mill levy. Is there significant benefit in lowering? Or would it make more sense to be able to allocate some more funding towards what we're trying to fund if we just maintain our mill levy as it is? If we're gonna have to have the revenue neutral rate meeting anyway, why not just keep our mill levy where it is, which I think is still trying to do right by taxpayers, but it allows us to have some more funds to try to put into the street, to put into some of the wage studies that we get at. I worry that if we go less for longer, we're going to continue to put ourselves in a precarious situation the more it happens. So,
And it's harder to get it back if you lower it.
And I guess I didn't point out, and I should, on that, you can see it easier on that first schedule in the information items section, but the debt service mill levy went down 1 million just because, again, that increased evaluation, how we paid off some debt early, how we have the debt payments coming off in the future. So just the allocation of how it worked out, that's fine. So leaving that at 3.5 versus the 4.5. So really, also, if you look at that at the bottom of that page, the general fund mill levy is still at, so it was at 36.222 and it would be at 36.704. So it's actually a slight increase from last year in this proposed budget. So that the general fund one didn't go down, and that's kind of why we were suggesting the 1 mil, just because it's the debt service fund and keeping general fund basically otherwise the same. Not that we can't still do what you just said. That was the reasoning for that.
I think that's something good to keep in back of mind as we move through, and then that would be a decision made then at the end, depending upon what we do on wage schedules. Does that sound good?
Maybe health insurance. Start with one of the top sponsors. So personnel tab. You want it. Folded schedule. In there, but the colorful one that you guys are gonna be looking at. Shows the 3 different options for health insurance. I guess either or on COLA or this, they're gonna kind of intertwine in your thinking, so. Just shows this and. Option 1 is. The whole increase to the city. Option 2 is what's in the budget right now, which is the 13% to everyone. And then option 3, we just threw out another option of employee plan increasing. So right now, it's 100%. And this would be the employee only paying something. And we just chose $30, $25, and $20 as you go down. And that's a savings of $10,000 off of the city taking all of it. So there could also be, if you wanted to discuss the employees paying a share, there could also be a mixture of that with everyone else's rates going up. It doesn't have to be 13%, it could be 7%, and the single people paying something, whatever. I mean, we can look at a lot of different options, but this is what we put in there. And somewhere I thought I put what we've done in the last few years. Did I not?
Amber, could you tell me how many people are on the single plan right now?
29 people in this budget are on this.
Just 29 are on the single.
And I did not, there is one schedule that would help. That shows what we've done the last like 10 years, but I forgot.
But do you think anticipated drop off would be if we increase that at all from 0 to something? Not,
I don't think that's significant. Yeah. I don't, there's whether or not we think it's big selling point, or I guess you guys maybe would know more. Your hourly guys, if they're, it's important that it's free health insurance.
I think there's a huge difference between $0 and like $20, $50. Like if we had savings to family, that's more of the type of people I'm willing to recruit in, is family oriented people.
it's getting to be kind of a relic to be a place that's $0 for insurance. So I wonder if that might be where we
Would agree.
$50 for a single, because that's still, usually there's a $200 to $250 fee to go to a plan if you're being offered to go to a family plan somewhere else, if you're being offered a plan at work. So that still is considerably less than paying that fee.
I'm going to cry, I'm printing very slowly. Doing it now to the color one.
Yeah,
What we've done for the last 10 years, sorry, I forgot that one.
No worries.
Because over, I mean, we haven't had, like we're saying, the last time we had a large increase was 9% in 2023. And we did do this, we did the 9% and the 9% on that one. So the employees went up. And then we had a 2% was all, and the city took that, and then 4% down and the 2% down, and the city took that. So that's been us. We were told originally it's gonna be 20 to 30, so we were happy with the 13. They came back for more once they got some more final numbers.
Remind me where health insurance is.
Blue Cross Blue Shield. And was she gonna, she's looking, because they're,
She's going to market, but we weren't gonna have that information back until late next week.
their Blue Cross plans are different providers. I think she's looking at everything. Gives a good comparison. And that would be something that we can still discuss and before our renewal time, which is in August. Coming right up, but. To decide this based on what we're on and if there's something better that we can do.
So how many are on single plan?
29 in this budget or.
Okay,
Yeah, at the bottom there, and then there's 4 employee spouse, 10 employee child, and 14 family. And the Amy needs one of. Well, you, I just need one. Anybody else?
Say, as an employee taking up to 50, paying up to $50 a month for a single plan, and Chucky said you'd be okay with that too, sorry.
I would be, I mean, I think that my ultimate, I want to try to be as employee friendly as we possibly can, but also realize that I mean, our dollars are just going to get really tight. And I think that we still, it's always difficult to take an increase, but I still think that even if with the employee paying $50, that's still it's a far better insurance plan than what I have, which is great. But I mean, I think that it's still one of the most accessible health insurance plans for our employees. So I know it'll take it's a sting. It's not one that I want to do, but I think if we're really trying to continue maximizing our dollars, this is where we are just in an overall job marketplace. It's still more attractive than a lot of other places are going to be, but it will be a hit to the paycheck, and I appreciate that.
Let me make sure I have heard that correctly.
And that sheet you just got, it also shows the breakdown between general fund, water fund, and the central garage. And just you can see where it between The coverage should match up to the others.
Well, I would propose doing the 13-13 split, but having the single employer do 50 or single employee do 50 and then do the allocation based on that.
So they would do 50 and then the others, what as it is right now would still split that way, because I mean, they're,
No, just a 13% allocation, but it would split differently, adding those employees to the mix.
right now it's just on their rates that it is, so like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like everyone would get a 13% bump.
yeah, that's how it is right now, like.
Okay. But is there a way that like that 13% is just allocated in a different way?
Like the savings you're saying, or
Yeah.
not the savings, but right.
Is
Like
that
right now that 10,000 that you're saying, take it off of the,
others?
yeah.
If we are truly trying to attract, more for the family plan, that
Yeah.
consensus on that?
So try to offer more savings to our family plans, but add an increase to the end of it.
And it gets our individuals used to, I mean, at some point in time, we're gonna have to pay for health insurance, so this is a good jumping off point to get started, because that's, I mean, in the future, that's just not gonna be sustainable.
I agree.
As I recall, one of the reasons that we went to 100% covered by the city was because some people were declining health insurance coverage at all. So how will that, taking that into consideration, that could impact our rates, our insurance rates?
Yeah, that's why I asked that first question, is what do you think would happen? And it sounded as though they didn't feel like there was gonna be a tremendous impact.
78%, something like that,
Of your employees have to have the insurance.
something like that. I mean,
Right now, we just have one person that doesn't take.
So
Any
that
insurance.
seems substantial to me, it's like a substantial difference. Because people decided, well, it's something that's offered, I don't have to pay extra for it. I don't know. I think that that's something that bears consideration.
How often do they get paid? Every 2 weeks or once a month? Every week, bi-weekly, so if it was $50, it'd be $25 per paycheck. I mean, you're not gonna see that as much just because it's split up, even though it's the same amount.
And not gonna jump ahead too far, but if we end up moving forward with the step and the COLA, what would that do for our lowest tier employee?
So I was just trying to figure that out.
Is it still a net positive?
It was on the 30. I know we calculated,
And then 2.7.
yeah.
Half of our employees are on the single plan. It looks like, right?
Yeah, it's really pretty well split down the middle. I don't in any way, shape, or form want to be disrespectful to the staff that really do work hard. But $50 a month for pretty remarkable insurance. I feel like that's something that if we have employees who are choosing not to take it because it's too much, I think we really need to do a better job of educating them on the value of the health insurance that's being offered. versus what it would cost out of pocket or what it would cost on the market.
Well, the market's going up, I mean, that's the reality.
Exactly. So I guess I feel like that's why this is a pretty fair, like it's a pretty fair increase. It's significant. I appreciate that, but it's still, when it's been nothing, it's easy to take. And I do appreciate like the concern that people are going to drop off, but I don't know where they're going to drop off to.
To nothing.
And
That's what often happens, is they drop off to nothing.
then that's where I think we really would want to try to at least help them make as informative a decision as possible with what they're doing by declining any insurance at all. And that this is really still a far better plan than they're gonna find anywhere.
Are most of these people single, or are they a spouse
Yeah.
that has insurance someplace else? I mean,
I'm thinking of one that came back on when it went free because she was with her husband's plan. And then that made it cheaper for them. That might be somebody that moves back, but I still think it's gonna be more than $50 a month for her to move back to, make it a family plan.
That would be my guess, is that if I were to move to my spouse's plan, it would cost us more than $50 a month
Mhm.
to do that, so it'd still be money ahead. To stay put. And that's, I really think that's just an education piece that we need to make sure. And if they absolutely refuse, fair, so be it.
Yeah.
But we can help try to make that decision, help them make that decision. What's in their real best interest.
well, I think sometimes people don't realize they don't take the benefits into account. They just look at the salary, the rest of it's. Money.
$50 would come out net positive here.
It's
Especially
still
when it was paid hourly.
come out. net
And I think we
positive.
also looked at the 13% too, like, or we were on it 20%, 30%, and they all came out positive at $30. So $50 at 13% is gonna come out positive. As Stacy, you said, 78% is the threshold of people that we have to have on to keep group health plan status. Did you say
78%? Something like that.
Okay, so 78% of 57 is 44.46. So as long as we still have 45 people that take insurance out of 57, we'll still be able to offer group health insurance coverage. If we drop below that, then we run the risk of not being able to offer health insurance coverage. So that's what you're getting at, Christy, right? If people start coming off, then will we lose our ability to offer group health insurance? So then that goes back to Chuck's point of educating people of the benefit of what we're offering here.
And is 57 our total employee, or that's just the number that we have currently insured?
It's total budgeted that we have spots.
Okay.
I mean, right now we have 53-ish because of coming and going, but
53 people on health insurance currently.
yeah. But we're budgeted for 57 to 57, it could be.
What other,
So what,
I just didn't know if there was other,
any other discussion on insurance before we move, probably the city wage scale would be the next. thing we move towards. Okay. We moved to wage scale?
Yes, also, this is Latasha. I was just like, oh my gosh, we never introduced her. This is the new city clerk.
Welcome.
Sorry.
The most exciting meeting you're gonna attend.
Always. Now. What will you say?
the city, the wage.
Wage scale?
So then after the foldy page. That is just discussing what was requested. So you saw in both of your city meetings, the two different department requests. And the first one that has a scale on it just showed the green, I added the green spots to what you had seen before that shows where people are currently. One of those is leaving, but currently this is where we fall, and so then the total budgeted wages at those spots is there, and then the total proposed and the difference, so that's where those numbers are coming from, where people actually are right now. Same with the police department, I went ahead and created that type of thing for them, what they were requesting. And those dollars. And then as a third option, since their requests were similar way. And as stated in the memo, fire department has their own scale, police is within the rest of the city's scale. Police dispatch, every run office, the streets, they're all the same scale after that. So another option here is to just go 1.25 steps across the board and 5% down, 5% and 5% down, which is an increase to what we have now, but not as much maybe, and also then it would be uniform across both scales and across all departments. I know we were just talking about the need in their departments, so that's definitely not, it's just another option to show, also because like I said, they're kind of intertwined when we get to the police department, but we can also make another scale, so. Anything else you want to look at? But the total increase. So you can see the increase by department for those requests, or the total increase on the last page. That would be for the, if both scales changed the way this was just stated. It was $36,000.
That is or is not included in the budget right now.
None of that is. So all that's in the budget is the 2.7% COLA. So this is in addition to that, or in exchange of that, or whatever you want to do. But yeah, none of that is in the budget figures.
So we need to be considering the wages and the benefits.
Yes.
Right. Not just, it would be just 36, it'd be 36 plus 8.
Mhm. Which is basically your Social Security and papers and taking. Also, I added on all of those that last. On each one, the last little section at the bottom that has all the percents, just to show the increase by step. So that wasn't one we originally saw either. And I didn't include any of the stuff that you were already given as far as background information, but we can add all, I mean, we've had all that, but we need to see that again for the next time we talk to that had the wage study information and all of that.
Just taking extra money, is there any significant consequence we'd have by increasing the wages that's recommended?
What's the money?
This money, right?
That every year that. Additionally. That is the whole. Go backwards. Well, I get you. I don't want to do that.
I'd generally be inclined to support the wage increases for both the fire EMS and police staff. I think we have two chiefs that have done a really great job of supporting their folks, helping us be probably as close to fully staffed as we've been in a long time. Had a lot of really strong moves. Support that. I think it's going to be more expensive to try to rebuild that than it would to support it as we have it.
Well, I agree.
Of all the places to save money, I'm not sure that this is.
Safety.
I agree. Now we have to look through the rest of it though to save the money.
Well, I mean, there's asphalt's not cheaper, right? Concrete's not cheaper. Pipe's not cheaper.
The people shouldn't be either. So check is yours, a desire to increase as they requested or as the proposed compromise?
And the proposed compromise or 1.25.
Yes,
We've only got,
percent down, 1.25 across.
For not the compromise, but I support the compromise, just knowing that hopefully we'll be able to get closer to it in another budget, but I just to some degree, it feels like we're kicking the can down the road, which I guess is fine. And it's what we do with a lot of things. I guess the other concern would be if we do this increase, is that going to be received well? If it is the compromised increase, is that going to be viewed? And ultimately, we have to do what's the best for the city, all things considered. But is there really, how much value really is there in doing a compromise instead of just moving forward with bringing us up to where our chiefs are recommended it to be? I'm not a math person. What is it? What is the total dollar difference between what was asked and what the compromise would be?
Well, in the compromise, that is for the entire city. So this is showing, and that's why the numbers are so much larger as far as total,
Sure.
is because it's for what I put in there was increasing the scale for the entire city and where everybody is at on the scale right now. So that the streets department, the water department, everybody is going to get this little jump based on your
little 1 point on top of cost of living.
Yeah. So, I mean, I
Police,
guess you're
fire.
considering two different things, obviously. And it was their request, and if that is the need, then that is, and make different scales or whatever needs to work. If not, that'll be fine. But it was also as maybe it should be standardized. 5%, like right now, it's all kind of is all over the board. As you go down, you don't know what percent you're gonna get of an increase. Like it shows here, as you go down now, it's 4.36 to 5.12, anywhere in there. And as you go across, 0.67 to 1.55 between years. I don't really know how it was originally established, but so 1 year you might get a 0.67 increase, or you might get a 1.55. So it did make sense to just kind of standardize it as was suggested by them, and that would be for everyone. But also then, because I think I've been approached that it's also an issue with them. The longer you're there, you're not getting that much of it. That's an issue in every department. So.
I don't want to support longevity.
So they would be getting the 2.7% and another 5% on top of that. That's what this will increase in.
Like the last one, that's all city.
No, not the compromise.
Yeah, they're suggesting to change this every example. Scale going down and the scale going across, so it grows faster. So the longer you go, the more you make.
So that's the problem we're having, Jeremy, is at entry level, we're comparable. But when you get to the 3 to up to I'll say chief, everybody's right on top of each other, we're only like 20 cents. Or cents, whatever it may be, I can't remember, I don't have all that in front of me, but that's, we're trying to spread that out a little bit, so you have some standing. You understand, that's where we're at.
The other have, feedback in regards to that topic. Love to hear.
Most of my guys have been here for quite a few years. And some of them are on the two-step increases or two steps between increases and they get 60 cents. And all you do is just slap it for their increase, so.
He means 2 years
2 years.
in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you get to the end of this scale, it separates out, so you have 2 years until you get your.
So like you said,
It used to have 3.
Yeah.
Took that off, now it's longer one and then 2 at the end, where there used to be 3, so.
and
It's
so
got,
you are relying on that 2% cost of living in that off year. And sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. I've seen 0 before, so. Well, it is. It would be nice for our guys to be able to get some of it.
Is the compromise for the chiefs, do you think that's, still would play well with recruitment and retention, the compromised approach versus proposed approach? I mean, it's high need. We do have to look at high need employees as well.
I don't really see where the compromise parts right out in here. I'm trying to see the,
well, just the second time the fire scale is in there, for the first time it's in there. You say 5% down, 1.5 across, so this is just 5% down, 1.25 across. It's the second fire one. So it's the third time you'll see a scale.
I think I was.
okay. So instead of being 1.5, 1.25 going across. Is that what
Yeah.
you said? Okay.
Which that one's more similar, it's a lot more different with between the police and the.
And I guess that's my. What are we really saving by that 1.25 versus 1.5? Because to me, it seems like it's just don't know that we're really getting a good return on that investment. And I think that I think that there's a lot of hard work that's asked of all of our staff, but fire, EMS, and law enforcement have, I think, a different level of concern for safety, and I guess I want to support that and recognize that there is a bit of a difference. I still want to support all of our city staff and understand that costs are going up, but are we really saving a lot by doing 1.25 across instead of 1.5? I just don't know that the value really is there. One-on-one support these departments, but that's my thought.
So the difference is that the 1.25 would apply to all departments, so in this,
Yeah,
it would apply to everyone.
it wouldn't have to be, yes, that's what's in the
But
last.
in the proposals, only fire and EMS and not,
And police. Well, police.
Oh,
is
sorry,
different.
and
It's a
police.
different request for.
right, different requests. But dispatch is not included in that.
So back in 2024, I did some checking, they got almost a 9% increase. I'm not saying that
Right, but they did.
they're comparable, I guess, with other dispatch centers right now. We're not high, we're not low, so not that they don't deserve anything, and they're just, they've got some bumps that on the law enforcement side has.
In that, the first page of that personnel tab is, at the bottom of it shows what our history is.
I think it was
Scale
9%.
changes.
Oh, it could have been,
Yeah, no, that's right. It was the 4% COLA and a 5%.
yes, 9% overall.
But that just shows what we've done for the city for the last 10 years.
That 5% open only to Lockard, PD and EMS. Not the rest.
That year, correct. Yeah.
Fire and dispatch only, fire officers.
Correct. That we said. It's fire EMF this. That year.
What year was it? 20.4.
And like it states on there, when we did that, we just had moved them down a spot on the scale, so they would start at a different spot so that we didn't have to change the scale because they are the same scale. That was the way we made that work last time. Also, you do want to decide and you do want to have, you know, a good idea of it, but whatever you decide won't be final until December when you pass the resolution or the wage increases for the next year. So it can't change whatever you decide if something goes badly or you, I don't know, but you do want to make a decision that you do have time. We could talk about it more if we wanted to, but it's not final.
The lots folks have.
Step increases and merit increases are one and the same, or theirs.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are budgeted in as well.
Do you ever not get a step increase then?
Yes.
Some people don't. So you reach your, you know, your threshold of the time period and then you're reviewed and some people do not receive that.
I've postponed them before for a couple of months, because they weren't performing.
But he'll have,
Reevaluate in 3 months or whatever.
but you do the evaluation at the time
Yeah.
period and say if you need to get better at something and whatever. Or sometimes they just haven't given. It's not very much.
Like we'll put them on a performance review plan.
But like you said, like we've said before, sometimes these merited step increases are 20 cents, so it's not like they're missing it anyway.
Wouldn't it be better, you know, to have people paid based on their performance than just relying on COLA increases anyway? Wouldn't it be better if how good you did at your job reflected how much you got paid at your job instead of relying on COLA? 2.7% this year, different percentages other years for your actual raise, and then these not even really amounting to much in the long run for people. When you say 60 cents quarter. That's not nearly as significant as the COLA increases. Wouldn't it be better just to do it that way? I mean, I'm asked. It seems as though we have it a little backwards. I would prefer to pay people based on their performance and not based on the economy, I guess.
I can speak
Yeah.
to something that happened when I first started. Maybe you remember that people would get bonuses for extra work or whatever. And I was told by Phil Deno, who worked up there, that that stopped because department heads were paying their favorites, all that. And then somebody who maybe did a lot of work didn't get anything because they weren't well liked. And so the bonuses stopped right before I started working here. And then they would be all over the board, $100, $500. They weren't across the board. So I see what you're saying. That's just what I'm thinking of, something that was similar to that at that time.
I think it would be difficult to do that kind of compensation in a public sector situation. Just because of what you're saying, just, it's hard to make that. At least the optics be fair. And I wouldn't want to be a part of a situation where it looks like somebody is getting preferential treatment because they kiss up to the supervisor or whatever. I mean, I think it's just different when it's in the private sector.
It's task oriented too. Concordia is not sales, so you reach so much percentage of sales. Yeah, you're going above and beyond, but doing your job, you're doing your job. As far as tasks are concerned.
I feel like those are measurable though, like what tasks are, what are the tasks based on the job description, and then what actually is accomplished by that person individually, all the way up to department heads. I think all of that is measurable to a degree, but I understand what you're saying, that, tasks are tasks, they're either done or they're not done. But quality matters, quantity matters, timeliness matters, reliability matters. There's a lot of measurable things within that. I get within a job. But I also agree that it is hard to, you can hire somebody you really don't like very much and just not give them raises because they get on your nerves, and that's not fair.
I think if you're getting paid for a job, then you should do your job. And that's part of what you're signing up for when you take a job, is that I'm gonna do this job the way I'm supposed to do it. And if I'm gonna work harder to get paid more, shouldn't I be working that hard to earn the check I'm supposed to earn? I think that you have a lot of discretion that would come into play that would be problematic. I understand what you're saying. But we're offering a fairly decent compensation in terms of wage and benefits. I think it's fair to expect a solid effort on the part of employees to earn that wage. So I guess I just think in theory that's how hard you should be working. We can get rid of COLA and just do merit increases. I think we've done that before. We've only done COLA. I think we've done half and half. I just don't know, historically speaking, what's been the most motivating in increasing efficiency in our staff output. Does it matter?
If it's for merit, COLA or merit.
Yeah, the years where we've done merit, do you feel like that our staff work harder for that, knowing that there's more emphasis placed on merit versus more emphasis on COLA?
More COLA happens no matter what.
Yeah.
Seems like that would be.
Right, I'm just like, are we seeing significantly measurable different outcomes based on the way in which we're increasing wages? From the outside, I don't see that there's a significant difference. People are gonna work as hard as they're gonna work. And you're gonna have employees who show up and just really work hard, and you're gonna have employees who show up and punch a clock. And from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like there's a significantly demonstrable difference based on going strictly merit or strictly COLA. So I don't know how much conversation to really have versus supporting our folks in uniform, adding value to our other staff in ways that maybe it's more than 60 cents an hour. This is.
So we did the fire and the police increase, that's at $48,000 total. Versus if we did all staff, it's 26 to 36, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a difference of 12.
And if we did the fire and EMS and did the 1.25 for all staff, then what's that number? For the remainder of the staff, if you do fire and police. And then you do, and for what they're requesting, and then do 1.25 for the remainder of the staff, for step increase.
The remainder is 18.3 or 18,361.
Just the remainder.
That included police at the 1.25.
I thought the bottom included police. Like, what's the total?
The bottom is when you add the fire, the 1.25 plus police and everybody else at 1.25.
Right, so if you just had the 18, then you got the 40, if you did everybody, but you did fire and police at the rate they wanted, it'd be 48 plus the 18, right?
No, the 18 also has police because they're in it. We'd have to back police out of the. It has police in extra based on what they have. And then add it back in.
Oh,
So we need to go back and get those figures. We can bring that back to you on Wednesday.
But that would make it even like less significant. If you took the police out of that.
Right, the 18, but it would go down. But I'm saying doing fire and police the way that they want, and then also just separate from that, a 1.25 step increase for the remainder of everyone.
I agree.
Yeah.
yeah, what's that total?
Right, I don't
More, but I don't know what. We can figure that and bring that back to you on Wednesday.
I would. I don't think it's any. That's significant. No, I don't.
But it's significant, but monetarily and the big picture of things, not as potentially worth doing to level the playing field a little bit around, but also highlighting the extras that are done, I guess, putting your life on the line. I know you do that too, though. You're in the manholes.
What if we started doing?
Not with bullets flying, right?
Instead of dollars, how many? This wage increase is X number of potholes, or this value is X number of feet, and then the per.
James on it.
I like it.
No, yes, we do a good job keeping the potholes filled, so nobody would make any extra money.
All right, let's move on, so we keep the train in time. Next would be. What do we want to head to next, folks?
Would follow make sense.
Oh.
Ola. $2.7.
2.7 sounds right.
Okay. Go with rest of the team, Martha. 0.7, Colin. Okay. Moving on.
Sorry, I'm writing. Want to make sure I'm doing what you said. Okay. Yeah, moving on. What else do you want to do? Outside, or I guess let's look at our projects. We'll put the outside entities to last, based on what you decide to do first. CIP. So basically with the transfers in and the federal fund exchange and what was left over from projects we're currently doing that's not allocated,
$427,653 was left to put towards projects for next year. And on that spreadsheet, the two items that are highlighted in red are ones that we do not expect to pay that money for, but they're there as a just in case. Because the downtown trees should be completely covered by the grant funds and the MS sidewalk project should be completely covered there also. That was maybe for some purchases of rights or something.
Yeah, right away, and even in that position, and we don't have enough information on that yet to know if we're gonna spend that.
So, but those are still in there, but that's why those are highlighted. But in the 2027 column, these are just the suggestions we had come up with. So just look through those, some 3 at the top and then the rest are at the bottom. 3 at the top are the ones we usually try to keep some in there for the downtown improvement projects, demolition and tree trimming. And we are using that tree trimming right now. We just used it. So we do use that every year. The other projects there at the bottom are suggestions. So and then everything that's below the black line is for future years, but to have on your radar, try to put ones towards the top of that that are more important to happen sooner in 2028 and beyond.
Remind me what the T hanger door, the damage was from.
Oh, what was it from? The storm last year. Last fall.
And insurance did not cover it
It was
because
below the deductible.
it's below the, it's 25,000 on the airport. Oh, yeah, and they're separate from everyone else, the airport.
Didn't we buy land for a cemetery on the east side of the airport? Didn't know why the land acquisition for cemetery expansion was on here.
When we talked with Ron about it several years ago, we were questioning whether that was the right location, so that's why I wanted to.
Seems like we don't have very many projects comparably, because a couple of those are significantly more. Or there anything that should be included, or that's where it's maxed out? From the next call over the 2028. Sure.
If we add anything above the line, we have to take something off. We are that maxed out.
Is it time to retire any of these projects? Like, I mean, just the one that stands out is Community Activity Center. Seems like the public's spoken on that. Is it time to take that off the list?
That's why we moved it down.
Yeah. Sure, I
I
mean,
mean,
does it make sense just to eliminate it off of that list?
It depends. So when we last talked about it, we said that we would be willing to talk with somebody if another entity took the lead. So I took that as a put it down in low priority, but don't necessarily eliminate it because we still probably want to be part of that conversation. Maybe not at the $20 million level that's on here, but if another entity takes the lead and starts talking about it, we still want to have some kind of placeholder because we may want to participate at a level that allows us access and usage, but we don't know what that looks like. So keeping it below the line fairly far down keeps it on our radar, but doesn't necessarily directly allocate resources.
I think that makes sense. It's something that I think we do want to support, if there's a viable plan to support. Also, let folks know it's a fairly significant level of support.
Susan, you may have said this, but you put them in priority order below board. Or no?
Most, or somewhat more towards the top.
Okay.
I mean, like the first. I would say through the one that says Onyx are all recently updated numbers and are more pressing for Shane. Those are just more desires in the next few years.
Got a lot of them.
Yeah, you do.
You just overtook it. basically.
But I mean, in fairness, Amy and I were at a coffee. This is what people are talking about. They talk about your projects, you know, so they're the high need things that people see and drive on and so that's,
Street.
yeah, so that's why they need to be prioritized.
And I think that's why we took a look at the traffic light for 11th and Lincoln is above the line. Surface preservation is above the line. What's the other one? They're repairing the outfall structures. That's in that flood control area where the hospital's been built, where Dollar Tree's been built, and the land is just eroded away underneath those. So those need to be fixed too, so that functions properly. And all of that is highly visible. So yes, I agree with you. That's part why we put those above the line this year to try to get those back.
Any further comment or discussion on CIP, or are we good with the projects as presented?
Yeah, what was the dispatch radio antenna?
That's a new antenna for this, at the station.
And it's the one that we have operable, functional.
It's
Another
operable.
couple of years
Yeah,
in it.
it's getting old and every time the wind blows, it starts to bend more, but it's not a high need, but it's something that we just need to be thinking about.
So that was one of those lesser things that if it could be moved. That depends on need, I guess.
At one point, there was lighting or replacement of the tennis court at Cook Park. I don't see that on the list. It's, yeah, my eyes are just shot. It's there.
It's on there.
Okay.
I had the guy come out surfacing, but the concrete's so bad right now. That's gonna be more than just a surfacing. Concrete gonna be replaced.
Sorry,
So that's on the
The
current
concrete
year.
on Hood Park,
That's, yeah.
tennis courts, it's cracked so bad and
Okay.
level.
I was not looking for enough.
Any further comments on that, or are we good on CIP? Okay. Any two outside entities?
So on that tab, the first spreadsheets just show what we've done in the house, what they're requesting. And then the very last schedule, that tab shows, just because Brown Grant's requesting, and it just shows what we have done for the Brown Grant in the last 5 years, the expenses that we do already pay for and the projects.
Now, when we had that discussion last time for the Brown Grant, I think it was that we reverted to the contract that. I can't remember, we looked back on the contract and because we pay for the building and all of the. So that it was in the contract that we don't do any operations.
Correct. Suggest we stay at the contract.
I mean, I think it is an exceptional expense and I do support the Brown Grant. I think that it's a wonderful place. But I guess just comparatively, that's the way the contract is written and I assume for a reason.
Yeah.
That was a part of that conversation.
I agree with you.
I do too, and I think we're gonna have a fairly significant expense with doing part of the windows. And if we're gonna be able to get all of it done, there's more work to be done.
Any other commentary on Brown Grant?
Yeah, I in the contract that we don't give them money for operating. But I think we need to consider the fact that that's the arts. We put a lot of money into recreation. There needs to be a balance You know, on the CIP, there's things for the ball diamonds. Yeah. And I know we need to keep that up, but we need to take care of our streets, our buildings.
Well, I think-
Besides ball diamonds. Not that I have anything against recreation, but I think we spend a lot of money out there. And comparatively, we need to balance better.
Comparatively to how much money we spend on the Brown Ground building, I don't know if that's.
Well,
a fair-
yeah,
You know, just because it is a historic building, but I think Melissa does an excellent job of seeking out grants and things, and there's a tremendous amount of grants available, at least it has been lately, for arts and like arts and music and theater and that type of thing, which is amazing. She's been very great about that, and they have a great board of people behind them. But I mean, for the
Yeah.
only reason, because it's in the contract, is
Yeah,
why
well-
I just don't feel like we probably should, because we do spend a pretty tremendous amount of money maintaining that building.
yeah. I'm just saying that, you know, we talk about how much we spent there, but we don't talk about how much we spent for other recreational things in the city. I'm not advocating we give them money for operations, but
Right.
we need to keep in mind.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I agree to keep the budget for OCCK at 5,000 as per suggested.
Yes. The only one I wondered about is the resource center.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the resource center?
Well, the cost of everything's gone up so much. And they're, you know, they are seeing a lot more people. But there's also a lot of other resources in town. So, I don't know. There's somebody else that gets a lot of grants. Tries hard to increase their income. So,
Their request is the same as what we granted last year. We gave them 15,000 last year. So their request now is for 15,000.
Oh,
That,
no,
I'm
I'm talking about the
Resource.
resource.
just right up top.
oh, okay, sorry, sorry.
I would request to keep it at that 25, considering the work we're doing at wage increases. We could try to keep that stable
Increase wages.
of our
That'll help.
folks.
Mhm.
I agree.
Everyone else same. Although that's the same, as per requested.
Right.
Yeah, they all requested the same as last year, so just put those all the same. The other one was senior center
Yeah.
and club road and club. That's how it is in the budget, everything just said, and then nothing will change from that.
So that,
If there's any, I mean, we can talk about anything else within there or look at anything else, but that was everything on the list, and I would come back with the changes, the
what you said about health insurance with a $50 single plan and then splitting. Or how much that savings is and the rates, and then scales. Giving an option of giving fire department and police department what they ask for, and then everyone else the other option.
And when do we expect we'll see an insurance, potential competitor insurance rates?
She said later, late next week, so just information back.
Does she ask everybody at the same time and their Blues is just the only ones that get back to us separately?
We get our renewal rate from them, and in order to ask the other competitors, they need to have Blues rates first.
Okay.
I don't know why it's that way, but that's the way it works.
Hmm.
And the separate, right, a lot of information, right? That, I don't know, over the, up to a certain point,
Seems
I wish we had that.
anti-competitive.
Imagine that.
And we advocate for that every year. We tell them our budget study sessions are this time of year. We've got to have it by this time of year to make a good decision, and it's always afterward.
Well, we got the 13% on
Last Thursday.
yeah. And then had to filter it through everything. Early.
And we're not large enough to do a self-insured.
So there's companies that want to do that.
Yeah.
But,
I was gonna say, didn't we do that?
I was thinking
well,
we-
yes, but there are companies that will do it and still use Blue Cross. But it kind of takes a gamble too. They tell you the best scenario that you use very little, so you get all this money back, but they don't talk a lot about what happens if you overuse it.
This would not
I
be
know,
the year
it's-
to go look at that based on
Yeah.
the utilization. We did get that report. This would not be the year. to look at that.
Are we happy with our broker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially in the transition, they're doing more in the transition of city clerk. More than they were in the past as far as daily stuff for us, so
Mhm.
that's been nice.
Okay. So you're coming back with that and then with wage. Numbers, okay.
And, I mean. We don't need to look at it really, but our debt fund is looking pretty good, so you know, future. We wanted to think about some of these street projects, and we just did that, it seems like. In a few years, we will be able to fund. Things. So, something to think about, yeah, that's on there just to look at into the future.
That's a quick question, but if we did, would increase debt or go after something like that? Would that have to be for a single specific project, or could that be more of a citywide project, like we're gonna,
The 6 streets.
yeah, or every sidewalk, or, I mean,
I guess I don't really know how specific it has to be.
For Bonnie, we just have to describe it sufficient so that people know what we're using it for. It's not a sales tax, so it doesn't have as many parameters as using this, but it's gotta be specific enough, and we have to be able to be specific enough with the scope to go get the estimates to show bond council what we're doing to prove that we can pay for it with what we have available.
so we have X number of miles of sidewalk and it costs X number of dollars. I mean, it could be a large scale project that we just need to be able to quantify.
Right.
It doesn't have to be just for this specific street or this specific area. Okay.
Any other questions for this budget session or anything anybody else wants to go over or staff wants to go over?
I would like to thank you for letting Stacy come back, because I don't know how I was gonna do this. I've been so relieved. It was the perfect time, too,
Yeah.
when I was done. You're grateful.
I guess I'd just like to thank the commission for looking in and trying to help increase those. Thank you.
Do we want to go back to the R&R discussion today or wait till we get the information from Amber on the wages? I think we-
Talk with that on Wednesday.
That's all she wrote. 40 minutes about it. You're running meeting.
That's just you. Next meeting.
Do we have anything to talk about it?
I don't know if I had open investments.
Oh, no.
Oh, so I'm talking about the